afternoon. This is Rashim Moga, and thank you for tuning in. I just want to make sure that you all can hear me on various channels where we are broadcasting this session today. So, people who are on LinkedIn and are joining me from LinkedIn, please drop a little heart so that I can know that you have joined us. And people who are watching me on YouTube Live, please make sure that you drop a heart so that I know that you have joined in. Let's just make sure, I'm just going to make sure that people are joining in into the session. Uh, okay, so I just want to make sure that I refresh my screen and see things live. Okay, so I think I'm getting some hearts over here, which means that we are live. And let's make sure that we are also live on YouTube. Seems like we are. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining in. For those who don't know me, my name is Rashim Mogha, and I am the CEO of the EVOW initiative, where we, through our programs, empower leaders to discover, visualize, and actualize their career success. In today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to negotiate a promotion. This topic is personal to me because early on in my career, I had so many experiences of being denied a promotion because I didn't know how to have those intelligent conversations around my promotion with my leadership. So, I would like to know from you, have you ever walked into a negotiation conversation thinking that you will ace it, only to realize 2 minutes into the conversation that asking for this promotion was a big mistake and you shouldn't ever had that conversation? And if this is you, then this was me a few years ago too. It took me a while to understand the art and science of negotiating a promotion. I have since then I've negotiated promotions, negotiated title changes, compensation very effectively over different roles in various companies, and I want to bring some of that knowledge today. Please note that today's session is a subset of the Career Accelerator program that EVA offers. So I will be pointing back to some of the things in the program, but essentially I'll provide you all the information that you need to have an intelligent and successful salary negotiation and a promotion negotiation conversation today. So, before we get started, I want to highlight a couple of things. One, this is a method that I have used multiple times. This is also the method that we coach through our EVA program. In this method, I bring in my experience of being a hiring manager and having hired over 200 plus people and promoted over 50 people. I've been through these conversations. I know how these conversations look like and what works and what doesn't work. And this is what I'm bringing into the conversation today. Now, before we dive in, I want to lay out some important facts as well. First is, before you convince anybody else, you need to convince yourself and prove it to yourself that you deserve a promotion. So many times we want to have this conversation with our leaders, with our managers, that we deserve a promotion when we ourselves don't believe that we deserve a promotion. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in terms of how to really figure out that you deserve a promotion. The second thing is that you don't get promoted just because you're working hard. So if you think that you deserve a promotion, or if you think that you're working so hard and somebody will notice it and promote you, you are wrong. Most often, there are multiple people who will decide on your promotion. So it's not just that you have a good rapport with your manager, and if you say to your manager, I need to be promoted, the manager will go ahead and promote you. There are so many more people that are involved, especially as you go higher in the levels, who make decisions around your promotion. Your But one thing that needs to be remembered is that your manager is the person who is going to recommend you for the promotion and initiate that conversation. So you definitely need the buy in from your manager. And you need to also understand what the process is, and provide your manager with all the information that they need to build a successful case for you. Most organizations promote employees for their benefit. Yes, it's important to notice that nobody is doing charity, nobody is promoting you because you deserve a promotion. The company decides to promote a person when they see that the promotion is going to benefit them in terms of, how it will impact their key strategic initiatives, what does this person bring to the table, and how is it going to help company achieve their goals. And the last thing, and the fact that I want to put out there, is that there should be no shame or embarrassment associated with asking for and negotiating a promotion. I've heard so many times people say, Rashim, if they think that I'm valuable, they will promote me. No, that's not true. You have to ask for promotion. If you think you're ready for a promotion, if you think you've checked all the boxes to get to the next level, you are the one who has the power, who needs to take the power and really start having those conversations to negotiate your promotion. Now, how many of you agree with those facts? Please send me a little message, type in. I want to make sure that you guys are aligned on this and you can actually hear me and see me. Okay, I see some messages coming in here. I'm trying this system for the first time myself, so I just want to make sure that I can see. Okay, I see some likes coming in. I see some hearts coming in. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we have these facts on the table, let's get started in terms of talking about how to recognize that you're ready for a promotion. The first step is to be super, super clear on the fact that why you deserve a promotion. No, it's not because your peer got promoted. It's not because you have been in the current role for some time. That's not the reason. I remember the first conversation that I had to negotiate a promotion with my manager. I went in there and I said, well, my peer just got promoted. When are you planning to promote me? That was the conversation that I had. And now, today, I'm so surprised and shocked that I even had that conversation and said it in that way because I knew better. You do not get promoted just because your peer has got a promotion or because you have been in the job role for quite some time. So the valid reasons and why you should in reality actually get promoted is because you have consistently delivered and exceeded expectations at work. You've delivered at your role, you have exceeded expectations, you've taken on additional responsibilities, and you are ready or already operating at the next level. Your skills and circle of influence matches whatever is needed in the next level. That's another reason why you should be promoted. You have launched or contributed to or demonstrated success in strategic projects. That's one of the reasons that you should be promoted. So, this step requires you to go back and look at all your projects that you have done and completed in last 1 year, and making a list of all the reasons why you should get promoted. Now, here's an important thing to note: most organizations have a promotion process in place. You need to understand and you need to really start looking at things proactively. If you want to get promoted, you should be always looking at that promotion process. You should always be understanding what is required for you to get to the next level, the skills that you need to demonstrate, how you should be making impact, your circle of influence, how you should really collect the data to be able to get to the next level. And by the way, all these things that I'm telling you, it's not a one time activity. These are basically things that you should be doing every quarter for yourself. I have um, I have a standing meeting with myself every month. Every month on the 30th of the month of the next month, I sit down with myself and I list down all my successes. And I don't list down successes in terms of I launched 10 courses. I I list down my success as I launched 10 courses that brought in X $100,000 and that impacted X number of learners. You see what I'm doing over here? It's not about the launch, it's about the impact in terms of revenue and in terms of my reach that I'm accounting for over there. So when the time comes for negotiation, month by month, I have these details that are already available. I know how I am impacting the organization, and when the time comes, I'm always ready with this data set to be able to have that intelligent conversation with my managers in terms of my growth path. So that's what I'm going to recommend you to do. If you haven't established this process yet, that's what you want to do. And this is one of the templates that we provide as part of the program to be able to really focus. It's part of your tool set that you have and the mindset that you develop to really be able to hone into the value that you bring to the organization and have clarity around it. If you do not have clarity around it, that means you're not ready for a promotion. And you need to take some time to bring that clarity into your life before you can start having those conversations. At this point, I would also want to mention something. Negotiating for a promotion is a dance. It's a dance between you and your manager and your organization where you come up with a solution. Not every time when you negotiate for a promotion, you will get a title, compensation, bonus increase. The times when you do it, and large organizations have very clear pathways on how to do it. Smaller organizations or where the promotion process is not very well defined, you might have to go back and negotiate. So, in your mind, also be very clear about why you want a promotion. Do you want it for money? Do you want it for title? Ideally, you would want it for both. But if push comes to shove and if you had to negotiate, are you willing to negotiate and drop your level down on salary or drop your ask down on title? This is very important to understand. Sometimes money might be more important to you at that stage in your career, and you might say, you know what, I don't care so much about the title. I'm okay if you give me this kind of money. Or sometimes title might be more important to you because as you're looking at your growth path, you don't care how much money you make, how much more money will you make. You care more about how you're perceived in the industry, what that title change is going to do to your resume. And sometimes it's about growth. You might not be you might be okay with not getting a title or salary, but more responsibilities or work on uh, highly strategic projects so that you can build your skill set. So, in your mind, be very clear that if that stage comes when you have to negotiate around things, how are you going to negotiate on it, and what are the parts that you are willing to play with? Having that clarity is really going to help with your conversation. So, this was about why do you deserve a promotion and having that piece ready. The second piece that comes and becomes more important is once you have this data, the next step is to start building your case. Now, this is where you identify how get your getting promoted is going to benefit your manager, your team, and your company. Remember when I was sharing those facts, I said that companies do not promote you for your benefit; they promote you for their benefit. This is when you leverage your storytelling and your communication skills to tie key strategic initiatives that your team is responsible for with your skills, your previous experience, and your demonstrated success. Now, um, let's take an example. Suppose you are a product manager, and one of the key strategic initiatives that your team needs to work on this year is launching a new feature. This feature is critical to product growth. Start with talking to relevant teams, the engineering teams, um, the strategy team, the marketing teams to understand how much revenue the product brings every year. And also research on why this feature is so critical for the product? Will it help with customer retention? Will it help in new business? Will it bring in more revenue? You need to understand what this new feature is going to do for the company. And once you have that understanding, tie this knowledge back to your skills that will help launch this feature on time and deliver results. Now, this could be launching this new feature requires cross-functional leadership. It requires getting buy-in from difficult stakeholders and keeping the scope tight. And that might be your skill set that you bring. And that's why you need to be on that level where you can drive this product, and that might be a director level. So have you demonstrated these skills in the previous projects becomes important. Have you managed some of the difficult stakeholders in previous projects? That becomes important. And then you're ready to have that conversation. And I'm going to talk to you later on in this session a little bit about how you should phrase that conversation with your manager. But for now, building that case is really important. Having that clear articulation of how you're going to benefit how your promotion is going to benefit the company is really important. Now, you might come back to me and say, Rasham, in my company, it's usually business as usual. There is no strategic initiative where I can contribute. In those cases, you might want to look at things differently. You might want to look at what are you trying to solve, and what is your promotion going to solve for the team or for the company. It might be a revenue problem. It might be an NPS problem. It might be a user adoption problem that you're trying to solve. What are you trying to solve? Now, as part of our program, in the last cohort, there were a couple of people from HR background, and they were like, Russian, we really don't influence the customer NPS, or we don't really influence revenue. But what you're influencing is leadership bench, and that leadership bench leads to revenue. So having that big picture and being able to connect those dots really help you think through what is it that your promotion can solve for you. So if this is resonating, I see a lot of thumbs up coming in and everything. Please feel free to write comments and let me know that this is resonating. And I'll be also taking questions as we go. So make sure to add those questions in the comments. I'm following some of the likes and follows on LinkedIn right now. There's a lag. There's a significant lag. Okay, so now let's talk about where. So when is the right time to have this conversation? That's important, right? You can't walk in any time into your manager's office and say, "I need a promotion." Uh, you built your case, you understand why you deserve a promotion. Now let's talk about when and where to have this conversation. Let's talk about when not to have this conversation. Not to have this conversation first, though. Do not have this conversation when your company is going through challenging. Do not have this conversation when your emotions are high, when somebody else has gotten promoted, or you see other people getting increments and you didn't get what you thought you deserved. That's not the right time. That moment is the worst moment to have this conversation. Also, do not have this conversation after your reviews are done or immediately after the promotion cycle, because it's pointless to have that conversation at that time when the cycle is over. Then your manager would come back to you probably and say, "This time the cycle is done. Let's wait for next year, or I will try to do it in 6 months in the half yearly reviews." So so then it becomes important to understand now that you don't know when not to have this conversation. When is the right time to have this conversation? Right time to have this conversation is if your company has a yearly review process, right when you complete your self-review. That's the point that you want to have that conversation, because you have collected all this data, you put in this data in the system. You really know how you're going to shine this year, and you have a clear understanding of why you deserve the promotion. That's the right time that you or ask to have that conversation. If you don't and yearly process. If you don't have a self-review process, pick up the phone today, talk to your HR to understand the promo cycle and the schedule. If you if HR can't give you those answers, then that means that you can really have this conversation anytime during the year with your manager. So start preparing for that conversation today. I see some comments coming in, so I just want to make sure that I address. Yeah. The next one is when your organization is formulating a strategy for next year, the budgeting process is about to begin, that's the right time to have that conversation because you know what the key strategic initiatives are. You know that the budgeting is happening right now. You have a clear understanding of if my manager needs to promote me, they need to probably put it in the budget because I'm expecting a pay raise. It is probably going to be an org change if I get promoted to the next level. My manager, they'll have to think about who are the people who need to bring into me or decide on a new org structure. This is the right time to do that. And the third possible right time is when you have completed a successful project. And this is more true for for the folks who work for companies who do not have a well-defined cycle. But every time you finish a new project, successful project, and everybody is sending you congratulations, your manager is congratulating you, that's the time when you have made an impact and you want to leverage that time to have a conversation around your promotion. Now, how do you initiate the conversation with your manager? That's the next thing. How do you start talking about having giving that promotion? Let's talk about what not to do first. Don't send a quick message to your manager saying, "Do you have 5 minutes to chat?" It's not a 5 minute conversation. It's not a trivial conversation. So you need more than 5 minutes, and probably your manager will think that it's something urgent. They'll pick up the phone. They're not ready for the conversation. They're not in the right mindset. You're not in the right mindset. That conversation wouldn't go anywhere. Also, one of the worst times to have this conversation is when your manager is prepping or running for a big meeting. So their heads down, they have a conversation with you, you work on strategy. As you're thinking about it, you slip in the conversation about your promotion. But your manager is not receptive. They're not there yet because their mind is so focused on getting this big meeting right that they're not really thinking. However, early on, as they're planning for this meeting, once you get to know that they're going to be working on strategy and they really start thinking, you can initiate a conversation. Say, hey, I know you'll be working on strategy. I have some great ideas. Let me know when you have 30 minutes. And your manager will be all ears for that. So, how do you initiate the conversation? You set up 30 minutes with the manager to discuss this. You send a formal email, say, I want to set up 30 minutes, want to talk about strategy and how I can help with the growth. Uh, or you leverage your one-on-one meetings. Never initiate the conversation if you're not prepared for it. Just never do it. Because what is going to happen is within 2 minutes of that conversation, you're going to realize that you should have never had that conversation in the first place. And now you are you are so you're so fixated in getting it right that you don't get it right. And then you spend the rest of the time gaining back the trust of your manager or recovering from that conversation rather than making it a productive conversation. Once you get into this 30-minute or this one-on-one meeting where you're going to focus on your promotion conversation, start with now that we have successfully launched this project, I would like to discuss my growth path and how I can leverage my skills to help the team deliver on the goals. This is important. You do not have a conversation and you do not end the first sentence without putting the benefit of the company and benefit of the team in that sentence. It's extremely important. Or you can start the conversation with saying, um, if it's a strategic initiative that you're part of, and that's why you need a promotion, you can say, we have exciting plans for significant feature launches this year. It's clearly you clearly need strong leadership at this level to be able to drive this initiative. Suppose you are at a product manager level and you're negotiating for a director level, you could say it's clear that strong leadership at a director level is needed to make this successful. Over past year, I have successfully delivered on my projects. I've driven exceptional results, and I am confident that my experience and skills make me an ideal candidate to drive these initiatives forward. Let's talk about how I can contribute to our continued success and how I can do that director role and make an impact. And when you say that, you pause. This is the most important thing. Let your manager respond after this. There's so many times people are so nervous about the conversation. They want to get all data, everything out in one go, and they keep rambling, justifying why they are asking for the promotion without really giving your manager time to process the ask. So pause and wait for a response. This is really, really important. Now, when you pause, that pause is not because you don't have anything else to say. That pause for you to collect yourself and your manager to really think about what you have just said and see how they're going to respond to it. Now, remember, as I mentioned, oftentimes managers are play a part in putting your name forward for promotion. But there are many people who are making this decision. And the goal of this conversation that you are having today with your manager is not to get yes or no on promotions. Goal is to really get them to agree to your name forward and provide them with the ammunition that they are successful in putting your promotion. So keep that focus in mind. Your focus is not yes answer from the manager call. Your focus is initiate the next conversation where you can really start providing um, you know data points and information that your manager needs to build a case for you. Now, the few times the manager is going to say, "Yes, let's talk. I want to know more from you. I want to understand more." Other times where it might feel like the manager is not receptive to this conversation. And that's when you really need to start thinking about how to handle objections. Your manager might have questions. And typically, when managers have questions or we see a little resistance coming from our managers, we get and we really start thinking about, oh, this person doesn't think that I'm capable enough, and that's why they want to have this conversation. Or for sure, he has questions, or they have questions because they don't want me to get promoted. So really, you have to start thinking about it from the perspective of manager is requiring information from me that will help them get forward to the larger team that's going to make the decisions. So let me use this opportunity to provide them all the information. So your manager might come up and say, we really don't have options now. So how do you react to that? You can say, I understand that budget constraints are there right now. But with these the new initiatives that are coming in, you really need a person who can deliver at the right level. If the person is not at the right level, we will not be able to drive the stakeholder buy-in that we want to drive. And that's why let's have this conversation in terms of how my skills can be used and my efforts can be recognized until this budget situation improves. Which is where you start talking about, remember I mentioned, you have to start about thinking about are you going to soft on the salary part or are you going to get a little soft on the title part? This is where some of that, if you've done that work, you know how you are going to negotiate, what you're willing to compromise on. Because negotiation is a win-win situation for both parties. It's walking that conversation means that you might win that negotiation and you might not win that negotiation. You really want to start. If your manager comes back and says, "Well, I think we need more experience or skills and move to that level." So you take that feedback, say, "I appreciate that feedback. Can we work on a plan together in terms of what skills do I need to develop and how I'm going to be able to exhibit and show those skills so that you can put me for mid-cycle promotion." Have that conversation. Just don't take now is not the right time or you need more experience or skills as a no. It just means not yet, but it's providing you that information to the next level. What do you need and how you're going to come back and negotiate for that promotion. So another objection could be we are restructuring the team or an organization right now. And if that's the response, you can come back. That's the perfect time to say, well, restructuring can bring in change and uncertainties. I have been able to lead the teams effectively. I might be able to help you lead this change. And this is actually the perfect time while the organizational changes are happening to think about moving me to the next level and use my experience and my skills to help the team navigate. So you see what I did over there? I used my skills, did not drop the conversation, used my skills to portray myself as the best person to drive that change, right? So these are a few ways how you can handle the objection. Remember that negotiating a salary or a promotion, it's not a one-time activity. It's a conversation that you need to have multiple times to get to the next level, and you should leverage it. So I know we are time over here. I want you to open up for any conversations that you have. And if this session resonated with you, please go and check it out. Check out evaglobal.com. We have the next cohort for Career Accelerator program starting on July 19th. I look forward to seeing you there. I see some comments coming in. When you are in an emotional state of mind, it's difficult to be rational. Yes, that's indeed true. I see some comments around yes, it's a wrong time. Do you have 5 minutes? It's such a wrong way to initiate the conversation. I 100% agree. Okay, well then, I'm going to see you. I hope to see you in the July 19th cohort that we are going to start. Please go to evaglobal.com. There's a career accelerator registration form that's open over there. Go ahead, fill that form, and I'll see you on the other